I remember real clearly that on the 31st of December 2019, when I was sitting with my father, and he wasn't well at the time, and thank God he's still alive today, that when COVID was announced and that it was going to be a worldwide pandemic, everybody over the months following that media release said, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, we're going to have cost increases, petrol increases, shortage of materials, shortages of food and a whole range of different things. And we all spoke about the things that were going to happen without, I think, really the respect or the understanding that it was going to actually affect us. It was like a lot of people were talking about it in the third person. But it's actually happening, and now, 3 years later, we are now starting to feel the effects of all that damage that was done at the start of that pandemic. And the flow-on effect, as you've probably seen, has affected the price of everything on a day-to-day basis. It has affected how we interact with each other. It has affected how the medical institutions are handling other diseases and doing their best to do so. But there has been a waylaying of the fear aspect, and it seems that we're not as paranoid about COVID or any other pandemic like we used to be. And it's like it becomes the new norm. And so what we're not seeing from a political point of view, and this is not a slab of the pollies again, but from a political point of view, we're not seeing the help that is required. And I'm not talking about just fiscal help, I'm talking about the help that is required to make sure that the affordability of products remains at a reasonable level and that we are handling any other crisis that comes along our way without always reverting to a taxation situation. Now, do I have all of the solutions? No, I don't. Am I getting fed up that there's always another new tax coming in? Absolutely, I am. So when we have a look at the building material type of thing, there's a few things that will happen here in the marketplace. And one of them is, and just speaking openly, one of them is this. If the cost of building materials keeps going up and the media is saying that it's stable, and I think that's bullshit. I don't think that material costs have stabilised at this point because we still see a cost of materials on a day-to-day basis on our job sites from 1 week to another sometimes, that shorter period of time. At some point, that has to affect the end value of the product. And everybody will say, oh, well, as a developer, all you'll do is that you will just stick dollars on top. And it doesn't always work like that because there is an affordability part and there's also the banks that are in play and you have the valuers that are involved in the settlements, etc., that go and they value now on a basis of, comparisons, compatibility, etc. Those markets now are very, very different than what they used to be. So, the valuers that we notice that we're dealing with now, we find are very, very conservative. We've also found that there's been a large increase in the amount of valuations that have transpired, especially across this state here, due to the fact that people are reassessing what equity they have in their homes and whether they should sell them or not. Now, I believe that a lot of people will hold on to their homes, and I don't believe we're going to have a rush in the general market. What I do think, though, is that we very much were living in the third-person realm when COVID started, and we're now feeling the effects of it, and we're feeling the major effects of it right now across the board, especially with cost. So in conclusion, what have we learned, or what have I learned in particular since the start of COVID? I've learned this. I need to be a better communicator than I ever had beforehand. I need to be clearer in the communication of what I desire and what I want and what outcome I want on a particular job. I have to make sure that the people that I'm dealing with are accountable in relation to what fees they charge, the delivery materials, etc., etc. Even, in my relationship with John doing this video, we have an agreement, we have timelines, etc., and we follow those and we keep it clear and concise. And when one party is not happy, we will tell the other party, so we stay on track. So we stay on track while we both agree that this is the goal, to hit so many videos out in a week, etc., etc. So I need to be ready and prepared, and so does John, on the given days that we've allocated, and not bail or have another issue or do whatever, because we believe this type of material is very important to get out. But that's a side issue. So clearer communication, one. The second thing is clearer delivery of the message, as I said before, of what you actually want from the people that you're using. Now, a third, and not necessarily foremost, is that you are in a good head space when you start your day. Now, I'm not a big advocate of the 5 a.m. morning thing, right? But I am an advocate of getting in well before 9. I am an advocate of having my day prepped the day before. I am an advocate of doing my shit work early, which means all the jobs I don't like doing, I do them in the mornings, so my afternoons are looking better. So the whole COVID situation has made me go back to what made me successful in my early years, because as I got a bit older, I did start to forget it. And COVID has reminded me that those things that I've mentioned to you in the latter part of this video are extremely important, and that's where they got me to today.
I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't let